Welcome to the Queens of the North podcast, week 16, episode 15. I'm Gabby DePaula along with Drew Jones. Man, a tough week for the Ravens. Not so tough week for the Steelers, though. What's your hot take?
Well, I have plenty. I'm glad to see that Kenny's coming back this week, but here's my hot take. At the end of the first half, I don't know if you saw this, but we got the ball back with 53 seconds left and one timeout. Canada called a run play and then just let the clock run out. So happy about the win. Thank you, Mitch, for coming in and doing your job. Run game was good, but as far as hot takes, to not even try before the end of the first half to get into field goal range, I'm sorry. You should have seen me on Sunday. I was so angry. I'm like, you're not even going to try to get downfield to get another score before halftime? Okay.
Yeah, that's I mean, I guess it's another reason why we're probably going to say bye-bye to Matt Canada, right? Maybe bye-bye to Greg Roman, the Ravens offensive coordinator, because the Ravens running game was working and it was working so well. And then they got away from it. I was texting several of my friends who work with me in the industry that are covering the Ravens. And I was texting them because some of them were at the game covering it. And I was like, where's JK? Am I missing something? Is he hurt? What happened? And then he only had one touch, or he was only in one play in the fourth quarter. It just going back, we have a great run game with either Tyler Huntley or Lamar. Probably, Lamar's probably the better runner in between those two. But with Gus Edwards and JK, the run game was working. And somehow the Ravens only put up 3 points. A ton of questions. Justin Tucker also missed 2 field goals. He hasn't missed 2 field goals since 2018 when they played the Colts.
Wasn't one of them a blocked field goal too?
One of them was blocked. Yep, one of them was blocked. So I guess
that was crazy.
But even if he did make the field goals, both of them, the Ravens would have lost. They still were down. They had to get a touchdown to win the game. So tough call. Also an interception. Tyler Huntley played. Lamar Jackson was still injured. Still questions if he's playing this weekend, which would be great. Right now, the Ravens have according to several websites, ESPN, whatever, between a 96 and 98% chance of making the playoffs. But we've seen the way they played. They haven't really been playing well up to their run game, up to the par that we all know the Ravens should be playing at. So that's why I posted it yesterday, and people were like, "Don't jinx it." I was like, I am not going to jinx it.
Just spitting facts here, fellas.
Ravens know what they're good at, and it's running the ball, and yet they got away from it in the second half and a little bit in the first half too. So not sure what's going on. Not questions about the play calling from Matt Canada and Greg Roman. I'll have to send you some of the pictures that I saw. Tyus Bowser, he's an outside linebacker for the Ravens. He's more of a quieter guy. I've interviewed him a couple of times. And he posted a video. Apparently there were papers outside the entrance to the castle where they have their practices, meetings, and everything. And it said "Fire Greg Roman," and he took videos of it.
Oh yes, I did see that on Instagram. Did you see that?
Yeah. And for someone Tyus is not like a controversial guy. Like, that is shocking coming from him. It kind of, I think, speaks loudly, right?
I mean, absolutely. And I think even Harbaugh said, I'm not going to get into that, like, social media stuff or whatever. But I know Harbaugh did say that he's standing by Greg Roman, that it's, one team, blah, 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 which, I can respect at this point in the season. You don't want to have kind of one of these going on, within the building. But yeah, I can certainly empathize with your situation.
Yeah. I guess our situation, or the Ravens situation, isn't as bad. That, what you guys have is just, I think, lack of, I want to say, information on the players in a way. Like, he almost looks like he's playing way down to other teams, way down to his own team, Matt Canada. Like, he doesn't know what to do with the players. It's like almost looking like it's his first time calling plays.
Yeah, it's definitely, I question the strategy a lot with certain plays, in certain places, like case in point, you have 53 seconds left on the clock. You have one timeout. You have an opportunity to put at least another 3 points on the board. In my mind, you're going to pass the ball. But what they did was run the ball and then let
Same
the clock run out. So it's just kind of like, what are you doing there, dude?
situation with the Ravens. They were passing the ball a ton in the fourth quarter, and it wasn't working. It just wasn't working. Mark Andrews didn't hit, he's not living up to the par that we saw. And I mean, a lot of that is play calling as well. I don't think it's all Mark Andrews. He did have a drop, so you can't blame that on play calling, but he did have a pretty big drop that would have been a first down. But, looking at how they should have, everyone was just like, why are we in the passing game right now? The
Yeah,
running
because it
game,
wasn't like you guys were
they
down
weren't
by a
stopping them
lot.
at all.
You were only down by 10 points,
Yeah, and they also had like 200 yards rushing. It just, what are we?
Yeah,
like, what-
JK had himself a game.
He had himself a game, no touchdowns. He didn't get in the end zone, but I mean, he had over 100 yards rushing. So, I mean, and then I think Gus had like 56. Like that's a good amount for each.
1-2 punch right there for sure.
Still couldn't get it done. Of course they played away though. So, I remember listening to the broadcast that the seats, like the stadium was not filled. They said there was a ton of open seats at the stadium, which makes me question, is it Deshaun Watson or is it the franchise? A little bit of both, or did they think the Ravens were going to come in and just put a pounding on them?
Yeah, I mean, last week you were saying you wanted the Ravens to go into Cleveland and show them what's up, and I was certainly surprised.
I said it was going to be I think a small margin. I said it was going to be a low scoring game. So maybe I probably said that's what I wanted, but no, I knew it was going to be a low scoring game. Like there's no way. The way that they've been playing, I was like, I know it's not going to be anything crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, gotta clean it up, I guess. Well, at least the AFC North is still up for grabs. Technically, the Bengals are just one game ahead, I believe, at this point.
They are one game ahead. If the Ravens would have won, the Ravens would have the tiebreaker because they beat the Bengals. But the Ravens play the Bengals very soon.
Here we go. Down to the wire.
I know. And it's funny because the AFC North title is way up for grabs right now.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at, just if you look at the standings, the playoff picture, the NFC side is pretty clear cut. AFC, it's like we still don't have our definitive number one seed.
No. There's questions. Could it be Kansas City? Could it be the Bills? I'm trying to look at the playoff scenarios. So the Ravens, if they win this weekend, they need New England and Miami to lose or tie. New England pretty much has to lose. Miami has
They play
to
the Bengals too.
Miami does?
Sorry, the Patriots play the Bengals this weekend.
Patriots play the Bengals? Okay. Well, we already know who's probably going to win that game.
Right.
I mean, the Patriots have a good pass rush, and Joe Burrow's been on the ground a lot, so anything could happen. They're a little banged up too. Tyler Boyd's a little banged up. They all played well, and they all had a great passing game against the Buccaneers, but Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, he had a touchdown. T. Higgins had a touchdown. I mean, they're still a little banged up here and there, though.
Yeah, I will say one thing their team is good at is making halftime adjustments. I mean, they were nearly shut out by the Bucs last week in the first half, only scored 3 points there at the end of the second quarter. And then you go into the second half and it was like, whoa, between the defense and the offense. I mean, Burrow's scored 4 touchdowns in 2 quarters. I mean,
he's a second half guy. He kind of watches how the other team plays, defense.
He's about the long game.
First half. Yeah. And then second half, he's like, all right, it's my game now. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals went all the way this year and actually won the Super Bowl. Maybe
really
Bengals winning the Super Bowl against. I mean, the Eagles are just so healthy right now. Eagles are that team to beat.
What's crazy is the Bengals even still have a shot at the number 1 seed if somehow the Bills and Chiefs lose a game or 2, and the Bengals win out. I mean, they still got a shot to get that bye.
Yeah. It looks like the Bills are going to have another snow game this week, I think.
Really, there's a blizzard hitting all of all of the East Coast right now, or not right now, but this weekend.
It hits us. It's supposed to be I think they reported around 7 degrees. I think that's what it said for the Baltimore game against the Falcons. However, I think my weather app says around 17, 18, whatever. Still really cold. 1
Yeah,
o'clock,
it's freezing.
not the sun out, but a couple of my friends were like, "Are you going?" I said, "Absolutely not. I will
Are you
be
staying
watching it.
indoors?
I'm staying indoors.
There you go. No tailgating this week.
No
Did you
tailgating."
tailgate last week?
No, it was away. It was against Cleveland.
Ah,
No.
okay. Well, we're testing the tailgating superstition theory here.
Did they? They won against the Panthers, and then they won. Yeah, and then they won again, but it was like barely. They barely won. So the Steelers just had, I mean, today's Wednesday. We just learned about a previous Steeler that passed away. Drew, take it away.
Yeah, very, very tough morning, tough news to wake up to. Steelers legend Franco Harris, obviously most well known for around the league for the Immaculate Reception, just died overnight. Terrible news, especially because the Steelers were going to be celebrating him, retiring his jersey. It's the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception this weekend. I certainly cried. I shed some tears. It was very, very sad, but I wanted to also take a minute to share that he didn't just make one great play in his career. He was a very, very decorated athlete, 4-time Super Bowl champion, 9-time Pro Bowler. He's 15th all-time in rushing yards in NFL history. In his 13-year career, was MVP of Super Bowl 9, elected to the Hall of Fame in 1990, was also Rookie of the Year in 1972. So many accolades. We definitely miss you, Franco, already. Off the field, he received a key to Pittsburgh. There is a Franco Harris Day, and he was very well known for showing up to volunteer events unannounced, no cameras, no photos, and just helping out the community. So thinking of his family.
Yeah, I know. Kind of crazy to think about some of these Hall of Famers that, you kind of knew of passing away.
Yeah, it's really sad. I actually, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just like weird kind of thinking about it because you know of them. We weren't alive enough to see them play, but it's like some of these guys in the past and you're like, wow, like are we getting to that age already?
I know. Yeah, I feel like we're also at that age where like people that we saw drafted when we were younger are now retired and getting elected to the Hall of Fame. It's just
Yeah.
naturally what happens when you get older. But I think you'll like this quick story. So my significant other is from Pittsburgh, coincidentally,
Mhm.
and he left his Franco Harris jersey in Los Angeles, and he's going to the game on Saturday. And I was telling my parents this because I'm home for the holidays, and my dad was like, "Hey, I have a Franco Harris jersey sitting in the closet right now. You should just mail it to him." So I pull it out. This jersey, it's ridiculous. It's like 5XL. My dad is like
Yeah.
a size large. He's certainly not 5XL. That's why it's like sitting in the closet. But it's like
Yeah.
this crazy, like vintage 1975 block letter jersey. And so I like mailed it. I like overnighted it to Pittsburgh, and I even put like in a little Christmas card, like say hi to Franco for me. And then today happened. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I'm doing.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, at least you have stuff like you can kind of memorial keep a memorial of with him, especially this weekend. You know,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Um, Kind of sucks it's like Christmas week for that, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And that dog is biracial. I love that. I love seeing us biracials succeed.
Well, rest in peace. But Steelers, who are they facing this? Speaking of the Steelers, who are they facing this week?
Yeah, so they're facing the Dirty Raiders on Christmas Eve. So the 23rd is the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, and they face the Raiders, who, of course, that wonderful catch happened against 50 years ago. So it's just a perfect day.
Yeah, but the
Saturday.
Raiders had a crazy game this weekend.
They did
They did.
against the Patriots, who you'd like to lose.
Yeah. I mean, just they were tied up, and all of a sudden, the Patriots, I was about to call them the Bills, but Bill Belichick and the Patriots decided to go for the win, I guess. I mean, what were we doing here? What was that play call? It was so questionable, and they fumbled it and got into the wrong hands, and they scored.
It
Raiders.
was like reminded me of like the end of like the Cavs game versus the Warriors in the finals ages ago, where J.R. Smith didn't know how much time was left. It was kind of like that. I was like, did you
Oh
know that you were
yeah,
tied? Like, did you
I
know
remember
like
that.
what's going on here?
I remember that.
But that
Was
was
that
one of the
last,
craziest endings for sure.
that last year that Tom Brady thought he was on third down, but it was actually like fourth down or
Mm,
something like that? Do you remember
yeah.
that? Like he's like counting.
Yeah. It's like, oh,
And
I didn't know what down it was.
yeah,
I've been there. I've played softball
we've all been
games where like I thought it was like the fifth inning, but it was actually the seventh inning, and like
there.
my nerves are going crazy because I'm like, oh, we're about to lose this game. And they're like, what? We literally just won the game, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Like, game's
Kind of
over.
lose track of time sometimes.
Yeah,
But you guys play the Raiders. Are you guys in Vegas? I still call them Oakland Raiders because that's just who they've been.
that's just what they are. No, it's in Pittsburgh, so I think I'm not sure if it's like before the game or during halftime. They're doing a whole like anniversary
Right. Yep.
celebration,
Okay.
obviously a jersey retirement celebration for Franco Harris. And I'm sure
Yeah.
they're going to be adding some more to that after
I
today's
think
news.
that'll be an interesting game because, like we've said all year, Steelers are rebuilding, restructuring. Kenny Pickett will be back. Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, all of those guys over there. Like, just a ton of questions about what's going on completely with the Raiders. And I mean, they have a ton of talent over there. I mean, that's why Devontae kind of went there and reunite himself with his previous quarterback who he played in college with. And they just like haven't done well. They have 4 wins, I think, this year. Just it'll be an interesting game to see who wins that. As long as the Steelers kind of stay on what works for them, they look like they started to get the run game back in action again this past weekend. It's not quite there yet, but it's stepping into the right direction. What do you
Yeah,
think?
absolutely. Over, last week you were asking me if I thought the Steelers would beat the Panthers, and I was like, well, it really depends on what team shows up. So
Right.
all parts of the ball showed up over
Yeah.
the weekend. So I mean, it might have not been like, the most dominant win in the world, but like every part of the ball showed up. So if we do that this week with Kenny coming back, I mean, Mitch is obviously, you could tell that Deontay is his favorite receiver. I feel like Kenny kind of like spreads the wealth a little bit, but like when he connects with George Pickens, it's like on these ridiculous plays. So I feel hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that this week. Yeah, I think we got a shot. I think it's going to be a tough test, but I certainly think that we got a shot at winning this game, especially with all the news. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder going into this game. But the Raiders are also coming in like, hey, we have a shot at the playoffs. So that's kind of where we're at this point in the season, that every single week is important. You can't lose anymore.
Right. Right. And I thought it was kind of interesting seeing Derek Carr a couple weeks ago kind of crying over the loss and just like frustration, like with all the talent that they have, letting some of his teammates down and everything. And just a lot of questions with the Raiders. It'd be interesting to see what they look like next year. I don't think they make the playoffs this year. No way. I just don't see it happening.
Side note,
Mhm.
Derek Carr, I just love that he's I don't want to say okay with, but like he shows his emotion, and it's not like a thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he cries in a press conference and it's like, well, yeah, I was emotional. This is an emotional game.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's not afraid to just be himself all the time. And I think that
Yeah.
that's just like such a great thing about him. And I've heard, actually, I heard that if he didn't play in the NFL, that he would have became like a pastor or been like more involved in like
Yeah.
his church. And he's just a good guy.
He is a good guy. My cousin ran into him in Vegas a couple years ago. He said like they like chatted up and he was like super nice. You never know what you're gonna get with players. They always say don't meet your heroes. Not that Derek Carr is his hero, but my cousin, his brother-in-law, so my cousin's husband, is a huge Raiders fan. So I mean, he could be, you never know what kind of person that these players will be. And he said he was nice. So um, interesting to see what happens with the Steelers and the Raiders. Of course, the Ravens will be hosting the Falcons. There's a 96 between 98% chance of the Ravens going to the playoffs. Who knows what team's going to show up? Are they going to stick to the run game? Because the Falcons have a good run game too right now. They're number 3 in NFL rankings. Ravens offense right now is number 2, which they probably could be better than we've seen last week. So and the Ravens defense just not, passing defense just not really holding up, not really doing well. They're ranked 25th right now. And Falcons don't really have a great defense either. And they're probably going to be starting their rookie quarterback Desmond Ridder. So if the Ravens lose against this rookie quarterback going into his second game, I believe, like as a starter, ton of questions.
I think we're just at that point in the season where like you put up or shut up, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like every team, even the Cowboys last weekend had a reality check of sorts. It's like
that
you
was
got to
fun.
get it
Yeah.
together.
Jaguars and the Lions, they're hot right now.
Hey, oh wait, did you hear about the Eagles? An Eagles employee sent Doug Peterson and members of his staff cheesesteaks.
No, I didn't. I might have like read that. That's like a caption, but I don't think I believed it. I
He
think I
ordered 35 cheesesteaks and 25 large fries and sent it to the Jags facility.
love it.
I know. That's the type of news I like to see.
Love it. And Doug Peterson has turned that place around, at least in the past 6-7 games.
Yeah. Don't
You know,
forget how the Eagles treated him
yeah.
after one bad season. Never forget.
Yeah, after they won the Super Bowl. Yeah, ton of
Mhm.
questions. Hopefully Ravens defense holds up. They're probably gonna be missing a couple players. Marcus Peters, one of their best corners right now. He's out with a calf. Left the game early, didn't return. Calais Campbell also left the game, didn't return. He has a slight knee injury. And then the Ravens are losing one of their recent first round picks, Devin Duvernay, their wide receiver. They just signed Sammy Watkins, who was oddly waived by the Packers. Sammy actually played for the Ravens last year. Fantastic on third down. Not great in the red zone, but I mean, he moved the sticks. So Ravens aren't doing great with that either. So maybe he'll help them.
Any help you can get, right? Any help you can get.
I mean, the wide receivers that they have right now, Deshaun Jackson, James Prochet, like it's just hard. Run the ball. Okay, let's run the ball. We know what our wide receivers look like. Run the ball. Can we stick to that? That's what's been working. Can we please stick with that? Thank you.
Yeah, and I think like you could also run the ball with your receivers. You know what I mean? If you're just trying to get them involved a little bit more.
We tried. So we tried
Give me
that.
a flea flicker.
They tried that with James Prochet. They tried that. They tried that with, and they tried they tried two handoffs with Devin Duvernay twice the past 2 games, and they fumbled. So communication issue, probably the reasoning behind it. Greg Roman is not on the field, but he is calling the plays. Like
So attention to detail, that seems to be a thing for the Steelers as well. So
shocking.
know the
So
playbook, line up properly,
yep.
run your route.
Yep. So we'll see what they look like. The Ravens have a winning record in December right now. So hopefully they get a win. I think it's gonna be another low scoring game. I mean, Falcons have a rookie quarterback. They're still trying to get, looks like, their team together, restructuring, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it. Their run game works though, so the Ravens are gonna have to stop them, like Cordell Patterson and whatnot. So I think it's going to be another low scoring game, not fun, and all those Ravens fans are going to
In
be
the
watching
cold.
it in the cold, around the teens. I think the Ravens, I think it's gonna be like 13-10.
Oh wow, yeah, that's real low scoring.
Maybe 13-3 Ravens win.
I mean, if they can get into like field goal range, I mean, Justin Tucker is going to come in that game and nail every field goal after last week.
Yeah.
So if they could get into field goal range enough, off of his toe, I mean, they could score 16, 19 points,
Yep. They could. I still think 13-10. What's your prediction for the Steelers and the Raiders? Almost just called them Oakland again.
Hey, it's fine. You call them Oakland, LA, Vegas, we don't know where they are anymore.
I don't know. Who cares?
But so since it's the Saturday night game, all eyes on them. I don't want to say it's going to be like a large scoring game, but I think it's definitely going to be close. I could see both teams scoring into the 20 points. If we start bleeding into the 30 point, area, I would be really surprised.
Yeah, I don't see that really happening.
It'd be a god wink is if it was the same score as the Immaculate Reception game. So I can look that up right now.
So yeah. That'd be so weird if that's what if that would be the score. Yeah, look that up real quick.
13-7.
Okay.
That's low.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
No,
Not impossible.
not impossible, but low scoring game. I don't really see that happening. Or I feel like it's like you kind of what you just said, like 17-21, something like that. So I see the Steelers.
Yeah.
Raiders, bad luck, bad juju, something's going on, but it's just not
Raiders
like
gonna Raiders.
yeah, right now. Like it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the Browns are gonna Browns, even though they just won against the Ravens. I just don't think the Raiders they don't have it together right now.
Yeah, they always just seem to have some piece missing, you know. I think that Derek Carr is actually a talented quarterback.
Hey,
I think that the Raiders have good pieces, like you mentioned earlier. It's just like it's always something missing with them, you
always
know.
yeah.
And they lost games they probably should have won. Like they should be higher up in the seating right now for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it just was bad luck. It's like it was not meant for them to have a winning season this year. For some reason, it was not meant to be.
Curse of the move to Vegas. I don't know. Maybe they'll never make the play. Well, they did make the playoffs last year, but I'm
I
like,
think
maybe they'll never win a Super Bowl again.
when we say that with the Kings or the Vegas Knights, the hockey team, I think it was their first year being in Vegas as a new team, and they won NHL or the championship.
Yeah, they went pretty far for sure.
Yeah, I think they won that year, which was like pretty crazy. For him,
Yeah.
I was like a bandwagon fan. I was like, whatever. He's like, I've always been a fan. It
Whatever.
just came around, whatever. Go away. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think the Ravens will edge it out with a close win. I think I'm gonna bite my new nails off
Don't do that. Don't bite your nails.
right before Christmas Day because they
You
play
need
on
a
Christmas
fidget
Eve.
spinner.
Raiders play against the Steelers at Pittsburgh in their god awful new name stadium, and
Yeah.
I think the Steelers win too. It's gonna be
Well,
another AFC North chase.
before we hop off, you gotta tell me how your family celebrates the holidays.
Okay, well, it's kind of changed over the past couple years because of kids and everything. We used to do Christmas Eve we used to hold it. We stopped doing that about 3 years ago. But one tradition I do miss, I wish eventually we'll bring back, is we used to have sushi on Christmas Eve.
I love that. Maybe you'll do that for, Saturday night with the game and everything.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. I'll probably go to my aunt's. I'll probably go to my mom's side and then go to my dad's side. A little bit, and then Christmas Day, I'll probably do something similar. Christmas, you go see my mom's side, go see my dad's side. So drive all over God's country. We used to bake cookies with my granny. My granny's like 90 years old and like can barely speak.
Oh,
So she's very Italian, and we used to make like
I
all those.
love that.
Um, yeah. What about
Make
you?
those cannolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't really do too much on Christmas Eve. I actually have to work, so that'll be fun. But Christmas Day, I ended up getting the day off. But we usually spend our holidays. So I'm an only child. I knew you knew that. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
if our listeners. Yeah, I am. I'm an only
People
child.
tell me that. I just think it's always you don't have the only child personality.
That's a badge of honor, I will tell you.
At least from what I've seen through the computer.
Yeah. I've been told it before. Just, definitely I put the team on my back. all one of us. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm an only child, so it's just my parents and me, and all of our blood related relatives live outside of California. So we spend all of our holidays with our family friends. So we'll be going down the street for a little Eggs Benny brunch on Christmas Day. And then I'll do I used to do a trashy Christmas with my best friend, who's our family friend, but we're getting older now. So we're going to do a classy Christmas. But I need you to help me with decide. Yeah. I bought a Steelers beanie. Look, there's my dog. Oh my God, so cute. At Ross.
Being calm.
And I saw it and I was like, I have to have it. But I'm like, should I keep it for myself? Or should I give it to my dad for Christmas?
Here's an idea. If it's for some reason cold in California and you need to light a firewood right there in your hand. You already have it. It's good.
I was like, where are you going with this? I was like, where is she going with it?
For some reason, if it's very cold, you continue to light a fire, or if you want to roast some marshmallows and just be cute.
Gotcha. I hope y'all lose out. Damn. I was being nice.
You know what? Like for some reason, I can see the Ravens doing that. So.
Honestly, yeah. If you guys lose this game, I doubt they bring Lamar back for those last 2 games.
Well, there's still a good chance that they can make the playoffs, like a really good chance. So that's the only reason. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
okay. So I guess that means I'll keep it then.
Yeah, I mean, like if I ever come to the West Coast, we'll just like light a fire. Free firewood,
Not
baby.
gonna lie, it's cold. I'll tell you how cold it is right now here on the West Coast in California, and it is 53 degrees. I'm not gonna lie, I wear a puffer jacket when I go outside. That's cold for me.
Oh, baby. It's like 37 here, and I am freezing.
Do you guys use the term yuppie at all in Baltimore?
I've heard about it. Like stuck up?
It's yeah, like just kind of like a wuss, you know. They say it a lot in Pittsburgh, so I would call myself a California yuppie a little bit, especially when it comes to the weather.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's 41 degrees right now.
Oh, that's not as.
And the sun's out and it's not windy, so it actually feels kind of warm.
Go get a tan while you can, before that blizzard rolls in.
I should, because I think we are gonna get some snow this weekend, but I think it's gonna be like flurries, so we'll see. I would love if it was a snow game, that I would be really upset about this.
Oh, well, I hope it doesn't snow then. Yeah, it's funny because I don't really even know the difference between flurries and snow. I've never had a white Christmas.
Low of 7 degrees, high of 19 on Saturday, so I will not be going outside. So
dang
is right. Nope. Okay, well, I think that's it for us on our Christmas episode. Merry Christmas, Drew Jones.
Merry Christmas to you.
I hope the Steelers lose. They lost for your birthday. There's no way they're gonna lose. There's no way they're gonna win for Christmas for you, even though I have them winning. However, hope they lose for the Ravens.
Yeah, hope the Ravens lose. At this point, I hope everybody wins except the Ravens.
Yeah. Okay, I'm Gabby DePaulo with Drew Jones, and that was episode 14. Week 15.
It's week 16. We don't know what episode it is.
14 and a half. Episode 17.2. Between Two Podcast.
See you next week.